You're listening to Field Chats, an Earth Force production. On this podcast, we explore the essentials of Environmental Applied Civics, an educational approach where youth partner with adults to solve real local problems. Keep listening for a living library of best practices, insights, and stories from the field. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to Season 4 of Field Chats, Environmental Applied Civics Essentials, brought to you by Earth Force. I'm Kristen, the Alliance Network Strategy Lead, and joining me today as a special guest is Haley Valley, our Content Strategy Lead. Usually Haley is on the production side of things, but today she's here with us. And today we are going to kick off the first episode of Season 4 by giving you all a tour of our brand new updated Educator's Guide. We'll be screencasting for you to follow along with and pointing out new additions, improvements, and really giving you a tour of this newest comprehensive resource. So if you are listening, this is going to be a visual episode, so I might recommend that you switch from listening to watching. And so before we begin, let's kick it off with talking about what are we seeing and hearing at Earth Force. So Haley, what's one thing that you've been thinking about this week?
Yeah, thank you for that lovely intro, by the way. Excited to be here for Season 4. One thing I'm thinking about is how to spread this work of authentic youth-led learning that's really embedded in youth-adult partnerships and all the things that EAC is all about. Our district strategy lead, SJ, hosted a second convening of people in this work. So a group of district leaders, partners, and educators this week thinking about that very thing of how to spread this. And it's just really exciting to see people who believe in this work and want to see others, young people, get the chance to do it. So that's just been super inspiring this week.
Yeah, and I've been kind of seeing and hearing, it's mid-August by now, and it is full-on teacher PD season. A lot of our partners out there are leading their kind of pre-school year teacher PD, so sending you all best wishes for that. And again, that's just another way to bring people into this work. So sending lots of love to our teachers and our students out there who are getting ready to start the school year here in a few weeks, or if they've not yet started already. So with that, let's jump into our episode all about the new Educator's Guide. So with a little bit of context, many of you have been noticing over the spring and summer that Earth Force got a new look. And so one of the reasons we brought on Haley to this episode was to talk a little bit about some of the context around Earth Force's redesign.
Yeah, so our new logo has been in the works for a while. Earth Force was founded in 1994, and if you've seen our old logo, you might notice that sort of reflects the 90s and who we were back then. So for the past, maybe 5 or 6 years, we've been thinking about how do we really reflect this work, and does that require a logo change and some language change? And so we all embarked on that. It was a very community-led process. Our whole team worked together. We worked with a great designer. And our board was involved in that and picking out this new design of our logo. So if you're watching visually, you'll see it in the corner up there. So we're all pretty excited about that. So the tree that you see in our new logo is sort of the earth in Earth Force. So learning really grounded in place and rooted in these real local problems that young people are experiencing in their communities. And then if you notice, the figures reaching upward are that force of us. So that energy of what we say is education done right. So the skill building, collaboration, purposeful learning that results in young people being empowered decision makers in their community. And you'll see that new logo across everything, including our website, which has new ways to get in touch. You can book a free consultation with us. You can learn about stories of environmental applied civics. Sometimes it really helps to see what this looks like in reality and what young people are doing and how educators are using it. So yeah, go ahead and check us out, earthforce.org, if you haven't seen it yet. And then one more last change we made was from environmental action civics to environmental applied civics. It's the same thing. We're not changing really what EAC is, but the applied seems to make the connection clearer between academic learning and then real life application of that. As young people are in the community applying what they're learning, civics, science, social studies, and so it's really that applied civics, like using that in the real world. And that seems to really hit the mark for us. And we've heard a lot of feedback from y'all that seems to be a good switch too. So pretty exciting changes across the board. And as Kristen goes into the Educator Guide, you'll see that branding change throughout. So some new colors, our logo, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and as a sort of broad introduction into the guide, that focus on sort of broader application of EAC. Our old guide was quite focused on classroom application, and this guide sort of broadens that language to be a more community-based, broader learning context other than just classroom. So with that, let's dive in. Here she is, the new Educator's Guide. And we can kind of go through this, the first few pages, and talk a little bit about some of the guide's new features. So as we'll start off, we've got, of course, our table of contents, and you'll find everything that you need right there. We also start off with the Earth Force origin story. Haley mentioned we've been around since 1994, and this is where it all started. So the guide has a few new features. We've added a glossary here in the beginning to define some key terms. We've also included the EAC roadmap and our 3 essential experiences, which are new additions since the previous guide. We also have updated our practitioner competencies. These were previously the educator skills, if I'm thinking of that word correctly, but we have 4 updated practitioner competencies, which go over sort of basics, knowledge, skills, and practice that a practitioner of EAC or an educator would want to build up in themselves as they go through the process. And those are all tied together under the lens of youth-adult partnership, can be found under each one. And then, of course, I'll give a shout out to the pacing guide, which was linked earlier here in the introduction. That pacing guide goes through sort of how much time you might want to set aside for each step. And that was something that we had heard. We hear that question all the time from practitioners, is how much time should I dedicate to step 1 or step 2? So just want to give a shout out to the pacing guide. That's a new sort of sister document to the educator guide. And then as we go through, we break down steps 1 through 6 piece by piece. And so each step has an overview, things that you might need to prepare for that step, some script starters, which was also a new addition. And these script starters are things that you as an educator can think or say to get a step kicked off. And then we'll continue on with each step. We've got some guiding questions for each step, how to use those guiding questions, and then some resources, what students will be doing, and then some examples of activities in those steps. And then each step finishes off with reflection prompts. Those are, again, new for each step, as well as suggested resources. And those are all of our kind of information documents, resources, worksheets, and of course, our tip cards for each step.
I think the reflection prompts are just a fantastic addition to this, because it encourages young people to really think about what they're doing as they go through, instead of waiting to the end to kind of recall oh, how did that feel? Or what did I learn in this step? So I hope people will get a lot out of those prompts for each step as you're going through it.
Yeah, those reflection throughout is a way to kind of keep those portfolios going too. Portfolios as mentioned here. And yeah, what a great way to keep that as a sort of ritual that you're returning back to at the end of each step. And then lastly, do just want to shout out that we've got our alignments listed here too, both to NGSS and the C3 frameworks, if those are things that matter to you in your district, or if your district uses standards based off of those, that can be a gateway into helping you figure out which standards that you need to reach can be reached through the Earth Force process. Yeah, and then Haley, did you want to do a quick shout out to some of our accessibility features found in the guide?
Sure. So accessibility was something that was super important to us as we were building this guide. Things like if you were reading this through a reader, you'd want to be concerned about text size, color contrast, readability of the headers, information in the tables versus bullets, alt text for photos. So all these things that go into making this document readable for everyone who can read it. And that was something that with our new look and color scheme, we really wanted to prioritize, was making sure that this was accessible to everyone. Our website also reflects that, and all of our materials reflect that change as well.
Yeah, and it's been a joy to kind of go back and keep editing the Ed Guide, because it is just so nice to look at. It is quite easy on the eyes. So as we wrap up, we hope that you will also take a look at our new Educator Guide and use it. Everything that you need is kind of linked in there, ready to go. So as you dive into EAC, no matter what your learning environment looks like, this guide is for you. And to access it, you'll need to make sure that you've got an account and are logged into the EAC Alliance. That's our online community of practice. And the guide can be found there on that site, nested under the Resources tab on the left-hand navigation panel. And as always, of course, the EarthForce team is here to help support you no matter where you're at in that EAC journey. So be sure to reach out if you have any questions for us about the new Educator's Guide, or where to find it, or where to find anything listed within it. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching, and we hope you'll take a look through our new Educator Guide and enjoy it as much as we do.
That's it for this episode of Field Chats. If you found this episode helpful, please rate the show or share it with a colleague. Thanks so much for being part of the movement to change how young people learn. We'll see you next time.